Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we're looking at a pretty fun nine-game slate here on Friday as we get the rest of these teams in action after the All-Star break. In this one, we're taking a look at both the teams in La La Land, Clippers and Lakers. Technically, the Lakers are the home team in this one, but they obviously both play out of Crypto Arena. Make sure you do check out Nate's great article up on playpicks.com as well with some best bets and player props in there for you. And do like and subscribe to that page as we got a couple other videos up for you today, including that player props video that will look to climb way above 500 with you as we move along here this season. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, the Lakers are -1 right now against the Clippers. That's not going to move much here because there's not much reason for confidence in the Lakers as they come out of the All-Star break. And the total is at 223 there in that game. Plenty of other games to look at, though, as you mentioned on Friday night. We've got Rockets +4 at Magic, Thunder +7 at Pacers, Raptors -2.5 at the Hornets, the Spurs -1 at the Wizards, Heat -4.5 at Knicks. We'll break down the Sixers, who are -2.5 now at the Wolves. James Harden expected to make his debut on Friday. The Pelicans +7 at the Suns. Mavericks +6.5 at Jazz. We'll break that one down too as a little bonus episode here coming out of the break. But we are talking Lakers, Clippers. And as I mentioned, there's not much reason for the Lakers to be giving any more points, considering they've lost 5 straight now against the Clippers, really in very frustrating fashion. The last 2 had leads, watched them slip away, failed to cover now in 8 of their last 9 against the Clippers, all the way back to 2019 there.
That's crazy.
But yeah, the Lakers, as we know, they've hit rock bottom a few times now this season. I think that you can't go any lower than when they lost to Portland with a complete G League squad out there and just got outworked and turned it over more than they had assists and just terrible. But I think the All-Star break will give them a chance to clear their head. I'm not saying like I'm going to bet heavy units on this in any sense, but I expect them to start showing some things here. LeBron James is still having one of the best seasons of his career. It's just the fact that there's nobody around him right now. And Anthony Davis is out indefinitely, of course, but the Lakers without LeBron have absolutely no chance. Their offensive rating drops to abysmal levels. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Thing is, without AD, their offense is actually a little bit better. Defense also a little bit worse, but I mean, at this point, they're very much used to playing without AD, and he's not going to be missed sorely in this matchup against the Clippers team that just plays small ball, spreads you out, and doesn't have anybody that's going to try to dominate them down low. Lakers have been playing pretty good defense regardless of whether AD's in and out of the lineup. They've won 3 of their last 4 at this arena, 7th best defensive rating. Clippers have won 3 of the last 4 as well at that arena. I'm not even going to call it Crypto Arena anymore because the 6th best offensive rating and they're 9th in pace during that span. So I know you like points in this one. I mean, with AD out, that you're probably going to see more pace with the veteran-laden Lakers getting a little time to rest their legs. You're probably going to see more pace as well. So I wouldn't argue with you there for 223 to go over that, but I am just kind of leaning towards the Lakers. And I don't have a lot of numbers to back it up with other than LeBron 4 rings. LeBron turns it on in the second half.
That's what we're going with. If you want to bet on the Lakers, I'm still going to let you know that I wouldn't bet on them with your money. But I will bet on points in this one. To your point, I think that while there's really no numbers to support either team, to be honest, right now. I mean, even if you look at the numbers of what they both do well, I didn't even look anything up for Clippers road numbers. By the way, this is just another home game for them. I feel like there's probably just as many Clippers fans at Clippers home games as when they're not playing the Lakers, as when they are, to be honest. So it'll be similar for them no matter what. So looking at both their home numbers, you mentioned they both won 3 of 4 at this arena. I'm also down to stop calling it what it's called right now, either the Forum or Staples is even better, but whatever. Well, the arena that they play at, both these teams, they've won 3 of 4, but there's nothing to support that they're significantly better at home. They're actually worse, right? They're the Lakers 13-18 straight up this season at home, and the Clippers won better 14-17. But they are both, over they hit the over at home more so. 17-14 to the over are the Clips. 18-13 are the Lake Show, and they both score more points at home. Obviously, talking about the overs, they actually have better percentages. They hit a few more free throws as well. Actually, the Clips one less, but either way, they're shooting better. They're actually shooting more shots as well, both of them. And so, I think the other thing that I really, the next thing I'd go to is AD being out. It's significant how much their offensive rating rises without him. 6 points per 100, and even more so for his defense, 7 points higher and worse in that case without him there, which also makes sense considering that's what really the main thing he's been providing this season, as his offense has been relative to himself really bad. So I think I look at that. I look at what the Lakers and Clips have done playing against each other as of late. I think there's something to be said for what the recent trade that the Clips made as well with Rocco, Robert Covington and Norman Powell. They got them about 7 games ago. Powell only played 3 games. He was actually doing incredibly well offensively for them, leading them to scoring. But they're 5-2 to the over in that time as well. Their defensive rating slightly worse than their offensive rating, and their shooting percentages are pretty good actually. They're 8th in points, percentage points in the mid range. So unsurprisingly, right, that's where they're getting most of their points from. Unsurprisingly, they don't make it to the free throw line. That's where they're last in the league in those last 7 games in terms of percentage points from the free throw line. And LA allows a ton of they allow a ton of free throws. They actually have decent numbers against the 3-point defending 3-point line, but that's not where the Clippers score from at all. They're getting all 2s. They're getting some decent fast break points off turnovers. So I think there's plenty of reason to feel good about the over here, man. Honestly, and really. For me, I'm not touching that spread just because everything that both these teams do is like either middle of the pack or lower third of the pack, essentially.
I mean, a word of caution there. The Clippers, on the season have not been scoring a lot from the perimeter, but that's how they've won 2 of their last 3 games here, jumping up, getting the Warriors, and then erupting against the Rockets by shooting over 50% from deep in those games, and Luke Kennard leading the way. And the Lakers, they're 7th in 3-point defense over their last 4 games, and Anthony Davis doesn't really have a lot to do with that. A lot of that is just effort, a lot of guys scrambling around. The Lakers give up a lot of free throws, while the Clippers give up even more, the third most. Yeah. They give up the 4th most paint points as well. They're dead last in rebounding rate. They're a team that can get bullied by a guy like LeBron James, as you might expect. And the Lakers lost that 5th straight again without LeBron James. They have one of those 8 of the last 10 that they've lost. I'm fine hitching my wagon to him. I think he's very focused on his legacy at this point, and after all this cryptic stuff about his future during the All-Star break and having that big game winner in Cleveland, and I don't think he wants to go out with a whimper here in LA. It sounds like he's going to butt heads with Rob Pelinka in the offseason and try to figure some things out, or just walk or a year before Bronny gets drafted, or whatever he's going to do. I don't think he wants this season to be the total embarrassment it has been. I'm not saying that he hasn't been trying to pull out of this nosedive, but I think at least on this particular night, the Lakers get them. They've been playing pretty good ball in 3 games now since that embarrassment against the Blazers. And I think we'd be singing a bit of a different tune if they hadn't lost the Warriors by 2 points, right? If they had beat the Warriors, they had that win. They just came back to beat the Jazz right before the break. Right. We'd be looking at them a little bit differently. I don't think they would just be -1. But as you say, there's not a ton of reason for confidence in them yet. I'm just trying to get ahead of the curve a little bit and say LeBron is going to snap this streak here against the crosstown rivals.
That's fair. I mean, maybe, I'm surprised it took you this long into the show to bring up that win against the Jazz after AD went down, maybe as a solid rally around turning point. Obviously, Team LeBron won in Cleveland on LeBron's All-Star game winning shot. Maybe he rides that momentum. I don't know, but I still do like the over for the last 5 in this matchup have done so. And I feel that trend continuing just with all the numbers between, AD being out and both these teams, which mean points, and both these teams, getting overs at home as well as of late. So anyway, that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page as we got a couple other videos up for you, including 2 more game videos and that player props video. And until we see you next, happy betting.